It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. Now here's...
Hey, what's happening? Yes, young man, you are on camera. It is showtime. It is Geno Jones Showtime. I come to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. in Chicago, 3:30 p.m. out in Los Angeles on the West Coast. Please subscribe to the Geno Jones Show, the Geno Jones YouTube channel. Please subscribe, share, like, and binge watch all my back episodes and tell everybody you know, each and everybody, or as Nelly would say, everybody you know, to subscribe to the Geno Jones Show. You'll be glad you did. Happy birthday. So one of my radio listeners corrected me. We are still in the sign of Virgo. So apparently Libra doesn't start, the sign of Libra doesn't start until Friday. So shout out to my Virgos, my virgins. Well, not literally, but. Happy birthday to Judge Faith Jenkins. You've seen her, she had the Judge Faith show, and now she is the judge for divorce court. And she's married to R&B superstar Kenny Lattimore. And Kenny Lattimore and Judge Faith Jenkins are expecting a child. You know, Kenny Lattimore was a guest of mine about 2 weeks ago. You can go back and binge watch that episode, his new video, and his new song. He talked all about it. As a matter of fact, you might see that video today. Happy birthday, Faith Jenkins, Judge Faith Jenkins. She's 45 today. Rapper Wale from the DC, as they call it, the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia, DMV. Wale, 38 today. Carlton from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You know, crazy with the little Carlton dance. Alfonso Ribeiro, who starred in a Michael Jackson Pepsi commercial way back in the day. So, Alfonso Ribeiro is 51 today. Happy birthday. And pop star brother Jason Derulo, he is 33 today. And all my Virgos checking in, celebrating happy birthday to you. Let me congratulate Michelle Obama, our forever First Lady. Michelle Obama is going back on tour. She has a new book called The Light We Carry. And oh my God, does Michelle Obama carry an incredible light? That book is going to be released on November 15th. Now, as of now, her book tour is going to stop in 6 cities. It's going to start off November 15th in Washington, D.C. Then it's going to stop in Philadelphia, Atlanta, Chicago, her hometown of Chicago. Southside Euclid Avenue, stand up for Michelle Obama. Southside 5932 Elizabeth, stand up for yours truly, Geno. So Chicago, San Francisco, and Los Angeles as of now. I got a feeling she's going to add more cities to that book tour. So congratulations to our forever First Lady. Now, I don't like wasting a lot of time. Well, first, let me start off by saying this. 48 days until Election Day. 48 days. Abortion is on the ballot. A woman's right to determine what to do with her body is on the ballot. And men, listen, let me tell you something. That as men, we need to support women. We need to support women in any way we can. And get over the insecurity and the misogyny and sexism. And I know it is deeply ingrained in this society, misogyny and sexism. It really is, just like white nationalism, some call it white supremacy, which is just hatred. It is an ideology of feeling superior, and it's rooted in hate and violence. People who identify themselves as white, which is it's called a made-up construct. There's no such thing as white. If you get a DNA test, and when the results come back, it won't say that, oh, you're 85% white. It won't do it. It won't say you're 85% black. This whole color thing was made up to divide and conquer. So a small handful of people for hundreds of years could control the money, the resources, the power of millions and millions of people. It's like a con. This whole race thing and color thing is a con. So, but I digress. Yes, a woman's reproductive freedom, a woman's right to determine what to do with her body is on the ballot. And men, don't think that this won't affect you, because it can. It could come knocking on your door. It could be in your house. It could be your spouse who has a miscarriage. And a state like Texas or Florida will threaten to arrest her, thinking that she intentionally miscarried the child. She could have a dangerous, what's called ectopic pregnancy. Basically, it's when the fetus, the embryo, the fetus, winds up not in the uterus, but in some place like the fallopian tube before it's supposed to be there. It's not supposed to develop in the, I remember back in the day, I would hear my grandmother, my mother talk about, she got pregnant in her tubes, which meant, and it's very dangerous. As a matter of fact, a friend of mine, about 30 years ago, his fiancée at the time, she died as a result of an ectopic pregnancy that went bad. So it's very dangerous. And for black women's mortality rate, black women die at 3 times the rate. So for every one white woman who dies either during pregnancy or at birth, the maternal mortality rate is called, for every one white woman that dies, 3 black women will die from some complication during, at pregnancy. I've been told, I've had doctors say it is the most dangerous time, and it's the closest that a woman can get to dying, is to going through childbirth. So, men, we have to support women. Listen, you could have a 10-year-old daughter or granddaughter or niece that, God forbid, is raped, could be raped by somebody in a family, an uncle, a stepfather, hell, a father, anybody. And the state is going to tell this baby that she's got to have a baby. She's already traumatized, and you're going to traumatize a baby, a 10-year-old or 12-year-old baby, by forcing her to deliver a baby. So don't think, men, don't think that this could not affect you, because it could affect you in a very personal way. Because it could affect somebody that is near and dear to your heart, that you love. You could get caught up, okay? With your side pieces and your mistresses and your side girlfriends could wind up pregnant and decide that she don't want to terminate the pregnancy. Or you wanted to terminate the pregnancy and no can do. So be very, very careful. So a woman's reproductive freedoms, abortion is on the ballot. Defending democracy, a choice. We have a choice. Because there's a movement, there's a segment of this population of this country that basically wants to take us back to like the 1820s. That basically is this country right now, there are a lot of similarities. There are a lot of signs, a lot of things that are happening that happened over in Europe, in Germany, in the late 1920s, and the 30s, early 40s. Yes. The rule of law doesn't matter. Some people think that they are above the law. By the way, Orange Hitler today, he was the New York Attorney General, Letitia James' sister. He's been charged with basically defrauding. Now, this is not a criminal case, so let me be clear. Civil case. He's being charged in a civil case of basically fraud. Him and his children, including Ivanka, and Don Jr., and Eric, defrauding everything, defrauding banks, defrauding the IRS, defrauding the public, defrauding you and me, your taxpayers. He could be forced to pay like $250 million and not allowed to practice business in the state of New York. Not just him, but his children. So once again, let me go back. Not only is abortion a woman's right to choose, a woman's right to determine her own reproductive destiny, a woman's right to decide whether or not, or if at all, she wants to have a child. And then you have some people who thought they are above the law. You have people who are openly calling for a civil war. There are people actively calling for it, planning for it, stocking up on weapons and ammunition. Yeah, study it. Don't take my word for it. Study your history. As a matter of fact, there's a documentary that's been on PBS, a guy named Ken Burns. He is a well-known documentarian. He makes documentaries. I believe the term they refer to as documentarians. Or to make it easy, like I said, he makes documentaries. So it talks about America's role in influencing Nazi Germany. From the Nuremberg laws, the laws that were created by Hitler to oppress, not just oppress, but to murder and to steal from Jews in the late 1920s and 30s. The Nuremberg laws, those basically racist, anti-Semitic laws to oppress the Jewish people. Where do you think he got the idea? Where do you think Hitler got the idea for the Nuremberg laws? He got them from America. He looked at the Jim Crow laws that were practiced in America. He looked at how the United States basically forced Native Americans off their own land and property and placed them in internment camps on reservations, stole their land, murdered and killed them, and got away with it and was never held accountable. How a whole race of people were enslaved and created laws to oppress, to maintain that system of slavery, to profit. Slavery was big business. The essence of slavery was to generate millions of dollars for slave owners. And you probably know that, but depending on where you go to school now, you may not know that. So the point I'm trying to make is that we are living in some very precarious, perilous times. And don't think, because listen, they started, those who don't believe in democracy, who basically wants a theocracy or really a religious dictatorship, a white Christian nationalist dictatorship. They believe the only religion that has any credibility is this racist, rooted in racism and misogyny and sexism version of Christianity, white evangelical Christianity. And not all, but many of these white evangelicals, their ideology of Christianity is rooted in racism and violence in many cases. Study history. It's not my opinion, not my feelings. These are facts. So if you think, oh, we could never wind up like Nazi Germany in the 30s and the late 1920s and the 1930s, think again. Because there's a lot of things happening now. There are a lot of politicians that don't believe in the rule of law, that don't believe in free and fair elections. Their attitude is, well, if we don't win, then you don't count. Like, if more of your supporters vote for you, if you get more votes than I do, then if you had to cheat. Like, heads I win, tails you lose. That's what's going on in Russia right now. That's what the Russians are living with. That's Vladimir Putin. And we know that Orange Hitler was Putin's puppet, his biatch. So, vote like your life depends on it. Got 48 days until election day. I can't stress it enough. And you need poll watchers and poll workers. And every local election matters. As a matter of fact, it's your local elections where a lot of the ideology of white nationalism and white supremacy, where it takes roots. It starts in your school boards when they don't want the accurate history of America taught because it's going to offend and somehow hurt the feeling of little white children. And they don't give a damn about little black children. Well, how do you think they felt? No, they don't want young white children to learn about the true history of this country. Because the fear is that these white kids will learn about their history and they will be determined not to repeat the sins of their ancestors. They will grow up to see the evil and the inhumanity and just the foolishness of racism. And it's something they will learn about the true history of what happened to Native Americans and the violence, the rape, the violence, murder, lynching of innocent black people. They will learn about that. And that will touch their sense of humanity and empathy and compassion. And they'll say, oh my God, I've got to make sure that I grow up to never let anything like that happen again to any group of people. White supremacy, white nationalism, that ideology of hate and wanting to have domination and to exploit economically a group of people, that system of racism and white nationalism, it's big business. But oh my God, if our kids learn about the evils and the horrors and the inhumanity, that's gonna cut off my money. I can't continue to make money off fear and hate and teaching ignorance and hate. I gotta make white people fear black people and brown people and gays and lesbians and trans people and Asian people and anybody who is anti-racist. No, because oh my God, if they learn, what will I do? Who will I pimp? How can I make money if this whole ideology and this system of white nationalism is finally laid to rest? And it's going to be laid to rest one day, hopefully sooner than later. All of that is on the ballot. I promise you. That's why voting in every election, like I said, from your school boards, so you can make sure that all children learn the full history of this country, good, bad, and indifferent. Learn from our mistakes. We learn from our ancestors' mistakes, so we won't be doomed to repeat them over and over and over again. But some people want this system to continue because they have made a lot of money and their ancestors have made a lot of money. So they don't want it to end, in many cases, for economic reasons. A lot of it is just ideology, that they really believe that somehow that their whiteness, because their whiteness has given them a pass and an advantage in this country for 403 years. But whiteness is on the clock. Racism, white nationalism, white supremacy, and there's nothing supreme about the concept of whiteness. There's really only one race of people, the human race. Now we have different ethnicities and we come from different parts of the world, but all of that is on the ballot. I can't stress enough. I said, I'm going to beat this drum every day. And to my young brothers and sisters, because unfortunately, right now, young women in America, you have less rights than your mother or your grandmother did. You have less rights today than you did 1 year ago today. And they're not just going to stop with abortion. These same people want to ban birth controls. So they want to tell you when you can have a child, but then they want to tell you, well, you can't use birth control. But if you wind up pregnant if you are a victim of rape or incest, or maybe you already have 2 or 3 kids and you can't even afford to feed another mouth, and you determine, I'm not able to bring another life into this world and care for it. They don't want you to have that freedom and that right to determine your future. But they're not going to stop there. Once again, they're going to ban birth controls. They're already trying to take away people's civil rights and voting rights. And they won't stop until the only people that will have any rights, any freedoms, and any say will be wealthy white men, which was the way it was when this country was first founded. The original Constitution, when that document was created, the only people who could vote, and this was in the Constitution, you can look it up. That's why you had to have amendments that gave black Americans, gave women first, and then black people the right to vote. Initially, the only people who could vote, and this was in the Constitution, wealthy white male landowners. Let's translate that for 2020. Wealthy white men, wealthy white Christian men, because that's how cold-blooded it is. Even if you're wealthy, but if you're not their form of Christian, their type of Christian, if you're not an evangelical Christian, God forbid if you're a Muslim or a different type of Christian, they're not too crazy about Catholics either, but that's a whole different conversation. Civil rights, voting rights. Oh, you can't. No, we don't want to serve you. We don't want to serve your kind. You can't stay at our hotel. You can't eat at our restaurant. You can't get on this public transportation. You can't shop here. You can't come in this town. And if you come to this town, you better be out of here by sundown. Yes. If you don't think that this country could return to that, if you are not careful and if you don't vote, you are fooling yourself. So don't be a fool. As my grandfather would say, don't fall in the trick bag. Vote. Register to vote. Register to vote and tell everybody, get everybody that you know that's not registered to register to vote. Check your voter registration status. If you are registered to vote, make sure you haven't been kicked off the rolls. So we're going to beat this drum all the way up until November 8th. Shout out to everybody. Groovemaster Dre, I see you in my chat room. Hello to my number 1 fan, my mother. Thank you for watching. And I want to thank everybody for watching. Thank you. God bless each and every one of you, and especially you. And God, most of all, thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show. I come to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. A programming note. This Friday only, the Geno Jones Show will come on at 4:30 Eastern Time. Special time. I'm going to get a chance to meet Congressman Jim Clyburn. He's actually my congressman in the United States House of Representatives. I'll get a chance to meet him Friday. I'll tell you more about that next week. So, special start time for this Friday only. Programming note, the Geno Jones Show live, 4:30 Eastern Time. And if you miss it at 4:30, don't worry. Just come to my YouTube channel. You can binge watch that episode and all the episodes that you have missed. Shout out to Mr. Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show. He is the CEO of Designer Cuts. As you see, he be cutting up. Got a brother right. Check him out on Instagram. Kel be cutting up. KELBECUTTINUP. The drip director, Allie Jones, the official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the Geno Jones Show. Check her out on Instagram. Lexi is really, so it's LX.NCL_ is that little dash below. So like L like Lexi, X like extra, dot, N like Nanette, C like Charlie, L like Lexi _ LX.NCL_ And shout out to Bruce Gage, also contributor, wardrobe contributor, stylist for the Geno Jones Show. This blazer is part of the Mario Uomo collection. You can check Bruce Gage out and his line, and not just his line, but the latest He is like a year and a half ahead of the game when it comes to fashions, drip for men and women. Drip fashion, in case y'all didn't know. Check Mr. Bruce Gage out on Instagram and the Mario Uomo collection and other fine haberdash, fine clothing, fine drip. It's Miglio di Mario Uomo. MIGILIODIMARIOUOMO. That's MIGILIODIMARIOUOMO. The next live edition of the Geno Jones Show is going to be Thursday, tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Eastern if you're watching me live. And if you're not watching me live, Thursday, 6:30 p.m. I love each and every one of you. I really do. Mother, you know, I love you more than life itself. Thanks for watching. Please share this episode, copy the link, paste it, share it, email it, screen grab it, grab about 60 seconds of it, me talking about voting. I'll put it up on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Let's make this episode go viral. You have my permission. You have my blessing. And until Thursday, 6:30 p.m. when I'm live here on my YouTube channel, once again, thank you for watching. And as always, be blessed. Let's pray for peace. Let me leave you with some video. Let me leave you with the latest, my buddy, Mr. Marcus Allen. His latest single on the top of the R&B charts. It's called Slide. And you might see somebody else in this video you might recognize. Take a look. I'll see you Thursday, 6:30 p.m.
The directors. Chameleons.
If I had my way, baby, you would be my girl that the mothers hate. I wouldn't care what the mothers say when they walk my way, 'cause I wanna give you all my attention. Every minute, every hour, girl, you can have it, girl, it's ours, yes. So relax and take our time, enjoy ourselves some wine, 'cause you're here with me tonight. Promise to treat you. Let's slide to the dance floor so we can get loose. Ain't nobody in this club finer than you. I'ma make you mine, girl, that's what I came to do. I'ma treat you right and make your dreams come true. DJ, play the records, 'cause we wanna dance all night. Keep the party jumping, we just wanna have a good time. Here's me and my baby, wanna make her my lady. Girl, I hope you feel the same. I wanna make you my babe, wanna make you fall in love, give you my last name. You and me, we can take over the world, just give me a chance. 'Cause it's me, baby, that you're missing. Every morning, every evening, in the late night, please believe me. Yeah, yeah. So relax and take our time, enjoy ourselves some wine, 'cause you're here with me tonight. Promise to girl. Let's slide to the dance floor so we can get loose. Ain't nobody in this club finer than you. I'ma make you mine, girl, that's what I came to do. I'ma treat you right and make your dreams come true. DJ, play the records, 'cause we wanna dance all night. Keep the party jumping, we just wanna have a good time. Here's me and my baby, wanna make her my lady. Girl, I hope you feel the same way. Girl, let's go dance some more. Don't stop, let's get it, do it all night, keep it going, baby. Girl, let's go, hit the floor. Don't stop, girl, I'm with it, do it all night, keep it going, baby. DJ, play the records, 'cause we wanna dance all night. Keep the party jumping, we just wanna have a good time. Here's me and my baby, wanna make her my lady. Girl, I hope you feel the same way, babe.
and tune in to the next episode of the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.